Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Expert Series, where we discuss all things product, financial services, and user experience. I'm Dave Cowing, CEO of Novus North, and today I'm excited to be joined by Eddie Chin. Eddie is a longtime product manager who has experience from strategy, design, through implementation and launch of products across multiple companies and industries. So thank you for joining us, Eddie.
Thanks for having me, Dave. Appreciate it.
Maybe before we dive in, if you could just share a little bit about your background for folks.
Yeah, I'm a product manager, right? So product owner. I don't know if that's interchangeable or not, but I spent a lot of years helping companies define, release, and sell their products. Work through components of all the different product management and ownership pieces. That includes the research, interaction design, visual design pieces, build, DevOps, and most recently business development, which I think is so critical because that's where you get to evangelize what your company does and what your clients can do. Bring that together into something that you can build on a relationship to see come to life, right? Especially in a client agency format or even internally, having that kind of external facing customer services is great. And I've done that for financial services and healthcare. So great products, great experience. Happy to be here.
Terrific. Thank you, Eddie. And of course, you and I have spent probably about a decade working together,
Yeah,
side by side. So
absolutely. A
terrific.
great decade.
Fantastic. Well, so maybe that, kind of our topic here was sort of this intersection of AI and product management, and kind of specifically, um, maybe to get us started is, maybe you can give us a little bit of an overview of how, what are the areas in which AI can add value to product managers, and maybe what kind of excites you most? What are the possibilities that you're kind of imagining?
Yeah, I think AI has proven itself so far, right? There's more for it to do. To be really good at working with and extracting insights from data, right? I can query data and I can say what's the trend here and what's happening here. And I think today's product owners are very data centric, very specific to what are they seeing, what insights are happening, and how do they manipulate, create more value for their product to take advantage to meet those demands and those insights. And so I think that product owners really have a really vested interest in making sure that the data that they get viewable by AI, something used as an AI assistant to kind of get those insights and figure out what does their product need and how do they take advantage of those insights to kind of make their product more valuable to their users, right?
Interesting. No, I love the idea of an AI assistant for the product manager and kind of helping guide that journey and that sort of keyword data. Maybe before we drive a little deeper, it'd be interesting to, you kind of mentioned something there that got me thinking a little bit. Product manager, the role is often one is sort of defining strategy and executing strategy, but two is evangelizing strategy kind of across a broader organization. So would love to, as you kind of think about this, would love to understand sort of how does this notion of AI as an assistant for the product manager tie into efforts across the broader organization?
Yeah, I think that the a product org should draw their insights from the same set of data. There shouldn't be a single set of data that a product owner uses and another set of data that the designer uses, and another set of data that an engineer uses, for example. So being able to say, here's what we're seeing based upon the research we're doing, and here's how we think that impacts design, and having the designer be able to say, okay, I see that trend. Here are other trends that we're seeing based upon the research we are doing. Engineering wise, here's trends that we're seeing and how to best build what we're trying to do. The product owner, in conjunction with the designer and the engineer, can help evangelize all of that throughout all their different groups, all drawing upon the same core set of data, and all being able to say, this is where the product is headed, or this is where our users are headed, and we need to work with them to be there. So I think that the evangelization aspect that you're mentioning here is really not just the product owner saying, this is what we do, and everyone kind of rally behind it. It's here's what the data is saying. You go prove it to yourself. This is where I think we're heading. Do you agree with me? Let's all rally there together, right? Much more collaborative, much more allowing everyone to be able to kind of see for themselves, right? Which I think kind of buys mind share much more quickly.
Yeah, that's interesting. That ties into something I've long believed, which, if you think about the way decades and decades ago we used to work, is, you'd have a project manager define a set of requirements, or a BA hand them off to maybe a designer, maybe not a designer, who would figure out, how's this all going to manifest itself, and all those specs got handed off to a developer who would just go blindly build it. And my argument has always been, the programmers should have direct access to the users, not to replace whoever's talking to them, but to better understand, because everybody in that ecosystem is making decisions.
Right. If you think about it, that's a bit waterfally, right? It's all
Yeah.
a bit. Here's the research we've done. We're going to pick up that block and move it here, and now the designers are going to do something with it. But I completely agree with you. It would be nice for everyone to kind of be at the same place at the same time. That's really really hard. So the one way that you can accomplish that is to have representation from each discipline, right? Go along for the ride, and that's why the triumvirate of product owner, product designer, engineer works out really well. But yeah, engineers, the developers, everyone should be able to draw upon that data set and draw upon that understanding. You have no idea how many times back in the early days, a developer would come to say, "Why are we doing it this way?" Right? What was the intent and what's the user? And that's part of what design does these days. Is their part of their role is to create designs that would communicate the intent, not just so the user understands what to do, but also so the developer can build what the designer is trying to have the user do, right? And so being able to kind of talk to that designer, that developer, I'm sorry, and kind of communicate that mindset, that's an added step. Whereas if that developer were part of the research and part of the data gathering, part have accessed that data in the very beginning, you probably have much more insights and much more people on board much earlier.
No, totally. And so you got kind of buy-in along the way, as well as better decision making for all the myriad of decisions that everybody's making as you go through a program.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Terrific. I can imagine it working already. That's fantastic. Um, maybe pivoting to something that you and I were talking about before, which is, um, what is kind of the interaction between an AI assistant and a coach, and how that has to work for it to be effective, and actually kind of help the product manager not just deliver great product, and I suppose by extension, the designers, the developers, but also enable that product manager to grow and become a better product manager.
Yeah, I think this is where an AI improvements come into play, right? I think AI is best able to be effective when it plays a coaching mentality, right? So being able for having an AI, and I don't think we're there yet, be able to understand who that AI is talking to or interacting with, and providing guidance based upon that persona, which I think would be very helpful in helping the team coalesce, right? Because the AI is able to say, well, I know you're a designer, so here are some of the usage trends that we're seeing with the interactions that users are having with this application, right? I know that you're a front end developer, so here are some of the errors that we're seeing popping up based upon the customer service calls that are coming in. These errors are coming up, right? And then even for the product owner, here are the questions that people are asking on why doesn't this feature exist, or why doesn't it do this? So I think that down the road, the AI coaching mechanism of being able to take in the persona and being able to kind of give insight and guidance with relevance to that persona will will augment what everyone is doing and be able to augment what decisions they'll be able to contribute and make. Right now, if I just take this data, a product owner may come to the same conclusion as a designer, as an engineer. But what if you presented a piece of data and a set of trends and insights that are very specific to the role? Now you're talking about bringing in multiple ideas, being able to work them together, and all probably for the same problem, right? That would be kind of neat.
Interesting. Yeah, it becomes. I guess by definition, it's not just more collaborative, but you can get through more of these sort of tight iterations and get more
Yeah,
interesting ideas and perspectives injected into the ultimate outcome.
right. You're actually democratizing the product ownership a bit, right? You're presenting that product ownership responsibility to the lead designer, to the lead developer, so that they can also improve the product along with you. Uh, it's not this hub and spoke mentality of there's only one product owner and that product owner's decisions kind of go out this way. It's a collaboration of here are the product decisions that we should be making. I think there's this engineering decision to make, which unless the engineer brings it up, it's likely the product owner doesn't even know the decision
All
needs to be
right.
made, right? And so being able to bring that up and so that the group can surface them and properly prioritize them, I think makes for a better product.
Interesting.
And,
No,
and
that completely makes sense. I wonder though, if you look at a lot of big sort of scaled product organizations, they've sort of micro fragmented roles. So you might have research ops and you've got research, and then you've got, and even within there, you've got researchers doing strategic research and testing, and then you've got um, designers, and then you've got design production and design ops, and that, so you've got all these different
yeah,
roles that have been sort of fragmented and specialized and sort of live in small compartments. Yeah, I wonder, does what you're saying sort of reverse that trend to say people need, all people need to think a little more holistically? Does it become the glue? How does it affect kind of some of those org models we've been seeing evolve?
yeah, 2 points there. I think first of all, if you're in a product org, wherever you are in that product org, whether you're DevOps, design ops, build, design, research, your job is to help sell that product, right?
Yeah,
That's really how it works. And so your job is to help figure out how to make this product better so that everyone can benefit from it. So, I think that we should already have that mindset of everyone is helping make this product better, right? We may be fragmenting it and there may be specialists, but those specialists have the same goal as everybody else, which is helping make the product better. Second, I think that the we sort of are fragmenting it a little bit where it makes it, no, maybe not a little bit, where it makes it really hard to kind of get everyone on the same page. I think until we get this, until we're all accustomed to it, it's probably best to start with the leadership level, like take the lead
right.
engineer and the lead designer. And as those design ideas come up, it should be up to the lead designer to be able to kind of maybe share the right data with their users so they can come up with ideas and insights too that then funnel up to the lead designer. There's going to have to be some practice in communicating within the design group, within the engineering group, and within the product ownership group for the time being until we can get to the point where, communication tools start beaming ideas into my brain so that we can all think as a collective. I think we're just going to have to get really good at communicating within our teams and funneling that through the lead levels.
Interesting. Interesting. So, I'm kind of interested in um, product managers specifically, and maybe not impact them, but how product managers should be thinking about the evolution of their role, skills they need to build to be successful with the use of AI assistants.
So, I think that we should all get used to working with data, understanding where it's stored in our org, figuring out how to get to it,
Mhm.
and how to pull what we need from it, and what it means when we pull specific pieces of data, what that data represents. I think B, we should start getting used to having AI not make decisions for us, but be coaches and guides with us. Let's take that data that we have, feed it into an AI engine, and let that AI engine churn those numbers and churn that data and help us understand what's happening. Right? That doesn't mean that I think a lot of people think about, oh, I'm going to get this data now. I have to understand how to work with it. That's not necessarily true. Right? If there's something that you don't understand about it, it's distinctly possible that you can use prompt engineering, figure out a way to tell an AI to understand it for you, right? And then get those answers, and that helps you learn with it too. So there's getting the data, there's being comfortable with having data. I'm sorry, AIs be coaches to help guide and churn that data, and being able to work with AI to kind of help it draw those insights out for you. So those are kind of the skills I think everyone needs.
Got it. No, that's terrific. It may be kind of looking beyond sort of the product manager and into the team itself. What skills does the product manager need to add to the team, add people to the team, think about, because it sounds like it's not just the product manager evolving, but new ways of working for the team.
For a long time, I've held roles like program manager, right, and engagement lead, and I think that those roles were as much about organizing the group as making sure the group hit certain milestones. So I think that those skill sets are now necessary, if you will, for product owner, right? In orgs that I've seen where there was a program manager or a project lead and a product owner, the product owner simply made decisions on what the product should do, and it was up to the program manager to make sure it got done and evangelize it. I think now you're seeing a combination of those two take effect, where the product owner needs to be that person that communicates why we're doing something and what needs to be done and how it should be done, right? Potentially with the help of a program manager, that's up to the org. But those kind of soft skills of rallying the group and bringing that group together and collaborating with them, I think a lot of those soft skills are now transitioning over to the product owner or product manager role to be able to coalesce the whole group and get them to collaborate together.
Terrific. Well, a lot of change on the horizon. This definitely sounds interesting. Eddie, I feel like we went through this super quickly. We could spend, an hour or 2 hours diving deep, but I appreciate you taking the time and sharing your insights with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Dave. This has been great.